Hello, Dean here again. Another video diary because why not? I suppose another lockdown day, January 5th. No change in sight. I mean, I have left this room since we last did one of these, but you wouldn't think of it. I mean, I just took my jumper off. I could have been wearing this underneath the whole time. So yeah, updates. It's been working. It's sat here working really. I hit my arm. This one. When I do that, it hurts. No, typical doctor advice to say, well, stop doing that. So I will. I don't know why it hurts. I don't know what I've done. So I've been trying to do some exercise and stuff, but I've been doing nothing rigorous. Well, rigorous enough to make me break out into a sweat, but if I stand up too fast, I do that. So that's not really enough to warrant an injury. I think just my body's that old now. It's got to the point where my nervous system feels the impact of something and then reacts maybe a day later and like, sorry, what? Oh God! Oh my God! Something's gone wrong. I mean, as a neuroscientist, I shouldn't really say that. Maybe people will believe that's the thing that happens, but it feels like that happens. It actually does feel like your body just gets like, oh, I can't be bothered anymore. I feel like about my hair as well because I often talk about going bald a lot, but I don't actually care. That's an affectation for me. I've been going bald like this since I was 18, but then it just stopped. So if I do go bald eventually, I presume I will. It's fine. I'm kind of used to it now, but I like to pretend I care. But I'm very hairy from like the ears down. My grandfather was one of those guys who shaved twice a day, and it's all loads down there. So I feel like it's almost like hair comes from the centre of your body. When I was younger, it was just coming out everywhere, but now it just gets here and goes, oh, I can't be bothered. I'm just going to come out the ears. I think that's what happens. It is. Again, I'm a scientist. I shouldn't say stuff like this. This is only the second entry of this sporadic diary thing I'm doing, but I'd like to read a comment from Idiot Brain, my first ever book, the very first line in the introduction. This book begins the same way nearly all my social interactions do, with a series of detailed and thorough apologies. So I should apologise for the last video I did yesterday, because I sort of a bit inconsistent. I put it in the titles, and I said, in the start I said, people say, look at me and think I'm a scientist immediately, so I get instant credibility. And later on I said, I never get credibility. So those are inconsistent things. But what I meant was, what I think I meant was, I look like a scientist, so people find it credible for me to say I'm a scientist. But am I a credible scientist? That's not the same thing. I've had to work to the point where people actually take me seriously as one. It's a very nuanced sort of difference, but it made sense to me in my head. But I'm happy to apologise for it. That's what's been the highlight of my day, I suppose. It's the story about the. I'll put it up on the screen now as well. It's in the Metro. Let me just read out the first part. Tory said A&E was full of fat mums in pot noodle stained leggings. In a New Year's Eve message on Twitter, Gareth Bain suggested that A&E departments were full of fat mums in pot noodle stained leggings with their snot covered Asbo children. Nice, very nice thing to say when you're a political figure, and that's shouldn't be par for the course, but it is these days. People just say stuff like this out loud all the time. For me, it was the apology he didn't make later. Mr. Bain said in a statement, "Whilst I feel my comments have been taken out of context, I do offer my sincere apologies for any offence they may have caused." Double whammy of weasel apologies. I was actually quite impressed by that. The words are taken out of context, which, as many people have said, begs the question, what was the context? What was the context where saying that out loud in public was an acceptable thing to do? Best I can think of is he was secretly rehearsing for his role as the villain in a weirdly topical pantomime, which seems unlikely given how all theatres are shut down right now. So yeah, I don't see what context there is which would justify that. And also the whole I'm sorry if you were offended thing. Genuine bugbear of mine. It's like I did nothing wrong, but you reacted wrongly to it, and I regret that happening. Which is such a weaselly way. Just because you have the word sorry in it doesn't mean you're apologising. Like if someone says, my dog got run over, I'll say, I'm sorry about that. I'm not saying I did it. I'm just saying I'm sorry on your behalf that this bad thing happened. But if I did run him over and say, sorry you lost your dog, that would not be an apology. That would be me avoiding apologising. And I don't get why it's so hard. Really, honestly, it's been a real baffling part. I'm not saying I'm some sort of superhuman virtuous man, but I genuinely find it more stressful not apologising when I'm blatantly wrong about something. Did on Twitter a while ago, I it was a miscommunication. I thought someone hadn't asked me to use the stuff in an article, and the article came out, and I was like, "Rah, rah, 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 how dare you! I do know who I am." I didn't say that. I would never say that, except in jest. I did say it once when someone came up to me after a gig and said, "How did they book you here?" And my words were, "Do you know who I am?" As in, "Are you aware of my existence before this?" Which was a surprise to me. So it was almost like the anti, "Do you know who I am?" But I digress. So then I realised, oh no, wait, I screwed up there. So I deleted my angry rant and did a Twitter apology saying, yeah, that was me, really messed that up. Because the idea of knowing I'm wrong and publicly, when I've made a fool of myself, and pretending that didn't happen or insisting I'm right, seems like so much more stressful in existence. And I don't get why people just dig their heels in and like, no, all the facts are wrong, I am actually correct. That just seems so anxiety-inducing in existence. And it's actually come up a lot today in that, the BBC have been flagged up and condemned, rightly I think, for giving airtime to the scientists who say COVID isn't even that bad, and these restrictions are unnecessary and herd immunity is fine, and just going against all the available evidence, all the many deaths, in which include my own father. And that was, it's always a real kick in the soul to see someone say COVID isn't even that bad when you've lost someone very close to you for no reason. And so people are wondering, these are actual scientists, how can they insist on they're right when all the available evidence says that they're wrong? And it's a really weird phenomenon, isn't it, in that someone has been so invested in their own opinion and so committed to this persona of themselves as someone who is correct about this thing. It becomes sort of second nature, comes ingrained, almost comes subconscious. I wrote articles about this, so I'll put them in the description if anyone's interested. And it's also something I sort of realised in that I'm sort of kind of lucky in that when I first started being a prominent scientist, if you think of me as prominent now, your mileage may vary, as I say, I was kind of worried, thinking, am I allowed to write books, write articles? So I'm not, quote unquote, a proper scientist. I've got my name on a few papers, never as first author. In scientific circles, I was not a credible scientist. Credible enough to get away with it, like I go back to last week, and I was allowed to be there. But I wasn't there was no Burnett model of this in the scientific world, or if there is, it's not me, someone else. So I was never a high profile scientist, never talk of the town, a prominent name in the field. So I thought, am I just an imposter, or am I jumping the queue by getting to write stuff as a scientist when I've not got this whole celebrated body of work behind me? But these days I think that's actually given me more of an advantage, because I don't have anything to defend. If you're a scientist who has worked their way up rightly, successfully, with diligence and hard work and stuff, you have a body of work to support you. This is my work, this is why I'm prominent, why I'm famous. And then if someone comes along and says, actually all that is wrong, that's devastating. That's actually really quite, it's a massive threat to you, your identity, your whole career, your ethos, your body of work. And emotionally, instinctively, you will dig your heels in and say, no, this counter evidence must be wrong. And so, I can sort of see how it happens. It's just that, when people do that, when they have their own views and beliefs which completely contradict the ever-increasing evidence and death toll, you shouldn't put them on the radio. As in, what do we get from that? And then knowing that, I'm often telling people, other people don't agree with this, I don't care. Other people think the moon's made of cheese. Other people think the world is flat. I don't care what they think. They're wrong. We know they are. And, I'm going to get comments now, aren't I? Well, hey, at least it's some engagement. And it counts as interaction. When you're stuck in a box all day, that'll do. I'll take it. Yeah, so, if I've ever been wrong about something that you're aware of, sorry. Genuinely, that was my bad. And, it's not hard to say that. And I'll say it again at some point, probably tomorrow.